Kristen is proving to us every industry has a dark side.
And this week, we're going to do the dark side of convenience stores.
Fun. Oh, it's going to be fun.
I found this list on Ranker of the creepiest, weirdest convenience store stories. I was like, is it convenient store or convenience? And it's convenience store, by the way. So, your first one. I worked at a small convenience store.
So not a Buc-ee's?
No, it is not a Buc-ee's. It is a small one. I didn't get any good stuff from Buc-ee's. Maybe next time I will do strictly Buc-ee's and see if I find anything. But they seem to be like an upstanding, an upstanding business.
Wasn't Tommy telling us like last week, didn't you travel 45 miles outside of your way to go to a Buc-ee's one time?
Yeah, there's one like 50 miles from my house. I'll go there just for the brisket.
So it's that good.
The day I told you about it, I came back and told Katie and Rebecca, because the exit I get off on to go home was a little crowded and you have to get over and weave over. I thought about just keep on going. Go to that Buc-ee's.
That place is so good, you would just get up and travel 50 miles for
And
it.
to talk about how nice this place is, you know how much they pay their managers and stuff? Like 6 figures.
What?
Yes. What? There's a sign outside every Buc-ee's that says, hey, you want to be a manager here? Make $150,000.
All right.
Really?
That's not these type of establishments, okay?
Don't think I didn't think about it.
Tommy's like, they can just pay me in brisket. It'll be totally fine.
I worked at a small convenience store. They had one of those fry delis that had chicken, corn dogs, burritos, etc. This particular night, I had run out of burritos and chicken. About 5 minutes before I was closing up, a guy walked in and asked for some burritos. I told him I was out of them and that I was just about to close and the fryer was shut down. He walked around the store for a minute. I assumed he was looking for something else to buy. And then he came up to the counter, pulled out a knife, and told me if I didn't cook him some burritos, he was going to stab me.
That's serious.
That man hungry.
I freaked out, but told him I had none to cook. I showed him the freezer, and I told him I would happily cook anything he wanted from it, but I was out of burritos. He looked in, turned to me, and said, "You really are out." I replied, "Yeah." He put the knife away and left.
Okay.
Once you get that thought of a specific food in your head, man, it is very hard to shake it out of there.
That's like you with crumble cookies.
Yeah. P.F. Chang's, man. Once I get that Mongolian beef in my head, I'll stab somebody.
There's no replacement.
Had a guy in our parking lot doing what looked to be Tai Chi at 1 a.m. He would do the motions, then kick flip off the side of the building and go back to doing the motions. We told him he needed to stop doing that. He goes to the pumps, takes the nozzle off, buzzes for inside pay, chooses a grade of fuel, and splashes it in his mouth.
What? The hell?
Oh.
He spits it out, chooses another grade, and does it again.
All the grades?
That's when we call the police.
Oh,
The second grade.
he's got that hot tool. The gasoline.
Wow.
Gasoline. I had a guy come into the gas station where I work. Obviously on drugs, but I have a lot of regulars that are addicts and most aren't violent, just weird. So he wanders around the aisle, occasionally looking over and staring at me for 10 seconds or so each time. After the last customer leaves, he comes up and pulls out a small pocket knife, the Swiss Army knife kind, looks at me and says, "I was supposed to do something very bad to you. No. But I decided not to, I think." All while opening and closing his knife. Then he finally decides to leave.
You think that was burrito guy? That's the same guy?
I don't think it was a different location. A friend of mine found out during a robbery that the emergency button under the counter actually just locks you in the store with a now panicking armed robber. His boss later told him it was to prevent people from getting away. I mean, it did also put in a call to the alarm company, who eventually called the police, but for a good 25 minutes, he really thought he was going to die in there. He did not know when he pushed that panic button underneath,
Of course.
that it was going to lock the doors with him inside with the robber.
Whose idea?
Right.
I got so many questions about that.
Yes.
So when you're behind the counter, there's a door to get in there also. So is that locked too? So you're sequestered from him?
Well, not all convenience stores have that.
Damn.
I don't want him in there with me.
You know something else interesting? Some convenience stores will have like height measurements on the door going in and out. So on camera, you can see if someone robs it, how tall they are as a suspect.
I never even
Makes
knew
sense.
why they did that. Huh.
I once saw a
I
man.
thought maybe that there's a height requirement to get in.
No.
So I would see him and I would just turn around. I would be embarrassed by that.
I once saw a man come in, stare at me for a few minutes, walk into the soda aisle, and slowly pour a 2-liter of Sprite down his pants.
No.
And then he left.
What?
There is not enough brisket in the world to pay me to be able to do this job.
One night, somebody stole all the urinal cakes out of the urinals.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, he probably needed them.
And then the last one for you. Oh, this would be so rank and disgusting. When I was an agent of the law, I got a call one night to respond to the Main Street 7-Eleven for a disturbance. When I pulled into the lot, there was a fair amount of people standing around outside. The store manager came up and told me someone had put a dead skunk in a paper bag, stuck it in the microwave, turned it on high,
The hell?
and left the store.
That's
Come
just
on.
straight evil. That's
Could you imagine?
evil.
The Bert Show.